once it's smooth, distraction-free background, here is one of the easiest way to go about it in Photoshop. Let's get right into it. So we have imported our pictures from Capture One to Photoshop. Just in case you don't know how to go about that, you can check our previous video so you'd learn how to import your pictures from Capture One to Photoshop. So the image is here. The first thing I'm going to do is to crop the image. So I'll press key on my keyboard to activate the crop tool. And once I've gotten the size I want, I simply press enter on my keyboard. So the next thing I want to do is to duplicate my layer by pressing Command J or Control J on PC. I'm going to there are different tools you can use to take out these distractions that are showing on the image. You can use your patch tool, you can use spot healing brush, you can use your lasso tool. So for this video, we'll be using our lasso tool, and the shortcut for it is L. So the way the lasso tool works, all you have to do is circle the part you want to take out, right click, and click on fill. Make sure your fill shows content aware, and then you click OK. And Photoshop on its own is automatically going to take out the distraction. So you keep doing this for the areas you want to fix. So right click, fill, make sure content aware is selected, click OK. Then you come to this point, circle around, right click, fill, and click enter or OK. So if you notice, there are still some shadows showing on the background. If you want to take out this shadow, you can take your patch tool, circle around, and then drag to a point not having shadow. And then you just keep doing it till you eradicate the shadow completely. I can still notice some shadows over here. So I can use the patch tool to still clean up, to take them out, to make everything look nice. So I can zoom into this point, take my patch tool, and patch it out. So the next thing I want to do is to show you how to properly clean up this background. So you just work with your patch tool, go around and take out the obstacles that you don't want in the background. So now we are done with taking out the obstacles from the background. The next thing I'm going to do is to show you how to actually smoothen your background. And I'll be showing you two ways. The first one is going to be using Gaussian blur value, which is the one that is popular to most of us. So, but I'm also going to be showing you a less destructive way to go about it. So, but first, let me show you how to use the Gaussian blur value to blur or smoothen your background. So what I'm going to do now is to take my quick selection tool, or press M on my keyboard and then click on select subjects. Photoshop is going to help me select the subjects. So as soon as I confirm the selection is looking good, I'm going to invert the selection by pressing on Ctrl Shift I on my keyboard. After doing that, I'm going to press Ctrl J just to select the background, to take the subject out of the background. So in order to make it simple and straightforward, I'm going to rename this background so we can easily identify it. So I'm going to come back to my layer one. So what I want to do next is to try to select the subject without having the background, because now currently we have just the background. If I put off this, you'll see that we have just the background. So right now I want to have a selection that is just for the subject. So what I'm going to do is hold on to Control on my keyboard, click on this part of this layer, and then I'm going to add a layer mask to this layer one by holding alternate and clicking on mask. So once I do that, we have our subject alone. So I'm going to rename this subject. So I'm going to take this layer above the background layer. So I'll come back to the background layer, come to filter, move to blur, and then Gaussian blur. So I'm going to pick a Gaussian blur value that actually smoothens the background the way I want. So I think this 40 works for me. So we have before and after, before and after. So if you see, we still have a bit of our shadow retained. So we have the before and after. So this actually looks good. So for the second approach, which is the less destructive approach, we are going to be using a different image for that. So we're going to be making use of this image. Like we did for the first one, we're going to crop this image and try to clean it up before I show you the less destructive method to work with. So I'm going to crop this image by clicking on or pressing C on my keyboard. Then I'm going to try to centralize the subjects. So make sure content aware is selected so Photoshop can help you fill this space, and then click enter on your keyboard. So the next thing we're going to do is to take out the distractions, things we don't need on the background. So I'll take my lasso tool, right click on it, click fill, make sure content aware is selected, and then press enter. I'll do the same for this part. Right click, fill, enter. So the next thing I'm going to do is to duplicate my layer by pressing Ctrl J. And for this less destructive approach, I'm going to be making use of mixer brush. So all I'm going to do is to ensure I brush over the background, the places that has stains. So but I'm going to make sure I do not brush the shadows out, because these shadows are what makes the image look real. So I'm going to maintain the shadows and at the same time take out these stains on the background. So I'll start with this. I'll just brush over it, paint over it using the mixer brush. So I'm going to also be increasing and reducing the size of my brush, making sure that I'm not brushing these shadows out, and at the same time taking out the stains on the background so the background just looks better. So we have the before and after. As you can see, the stain is no longer there, and then we're able to still retain the shadows. So unlike if we had used the first approach, that would have taken the shadows out completely. So we've been able to use the mixer brush to smoothen the background and at the same time maintain the shadow in the picture without taking it out. So this is how to smoothen your background using the mixer brush approach. So I'm still going to show you how to work on this image using the Gaussian blur method. So like we did for the first one, I'm going to duplicate this layer, come to my quick selection to click on select subjects. So if the selection is not accurate, it's picking the areas I don't want, I can still go back to the quick selection tool and just drag over the areas I do not want the selection to affect. To invert this selection, Ctrl Shift I, like we did in the first picture, Ctrl J, then we have our background selected. So we name it background. And then we come to select this. What we are trying to do now is to get our subjects separate from the background. So you hold your control and then click on this selection, this rectangular box of the background layer. Click on it and then hold alternate and click on your marks. This will automatically select the subjects for us. So we are going to move this subject layer above the background layer. Come to the background layer, go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and then see how it looks. Then when we click enter, you see the before and after. The shadow is being destroyed by this method. But looking at the first method we used, the mixer brush method, so I'm going to group this. So looking at this first method we used, the mixer brush method, you can see that the background looks smooth, but we still have the shadows. We're able to work or clean up the background without ruining the shadows. So these are the two approaches you can use to smoothen or clean up your background. So I think when you have different situations, you would know the best one to actually apply. You can use the mixer brush approach or use the Gaussian blur radius approach. And that's it. Now you know how to clean up your background and a less destructive way to go about it. If you found this video helpful, do well to like, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notification so you get notified when we post subsequent videos.